That's probably a lot of things that you already know about Michael Jackson, but let me share some things about Michael Jackson that you probably don't know that played a huge role in the success or the secret behind the success to his career. Oftentimes, what I
Also,
hear
chat,
is
I'm
Michael was,
gonna put his
very well
video in a comment description down below too, so y'all can go check it out y'all by
soft-spoken,
yourself
and
as well
he was
too if
against
y'all
the
need to.
agenda, and it's very difficult to believe if he was into these evil things. But MJ only spoke out against the music industry later in his career when the elites stopped working with him and started going against him personally. Before that point, he 100% benefited from all the perks and even exploited many artists, including the
For
same
real.
black musicians he claimed record labels would take advantage of.
How serious was that competition? Because we hear stories all the time.
Mike definitely stopped me from working with a lot of people at that time.
Like who?
Just a lot of
He's
artists.
a
A lot of artists
Machiavellian.
was calling me to work at that time, and Mike was just like, "I'll pay you not to work with them." Yeah, she was like, he was like, I need you," and it wasn't a thing.
A Machiavellian. That's
I'll pay
crazy,
you not to
chat.
work with them because they're not good or anything.
He
like
called
that.
him
It was more so, I
Machiavellian.
need you here.
Yeah.
Focused and locked in on what we're doing.
It's a very well known fact that MJ was an extremely selfish and greedy artist to the point that he would not only steal records from other people, but he would hoard most of the best songs that other people wrote so that he would take
Wow.
credit for the songs over other musicians. And just because someone is soft spoken does not mean they didn't delve into evil spirits, rituals, and practices. And by the end of this video, you'll 100% see MJ completely differently than the way you see him now. MJ had way too much power and influence globally to not have been controlled. One of the biggest controversies surrounding Michael Jackson that I'm sure a lot of us know about are the accusations with him and little boys. Many say he was innocent, many say he was guilty. Many even argue that regardless of either being true, the reason
is
he was so
insane.
infatuated with hanging out with children is because he didn't really get to have a childhood himself due to his father forcing him to be a professional musician since a young age. But my personal opinion doesn't really matter, and honestly, I'll leave that part for you all to discuss based on all the information I'm going to give you in this video. But speaking of Michael Jackson and his career, earlier I mentioned how
Hey, Chris, are you
Diana
watching
Ross
this?
was part of the reason that they blew up. She, for the most part, introduced them to the world. What a lot of people don't know is that Michael Jackson actually lived with Diana Ross for a year when he was just 9 years old, despite the fact that she was 14 years older than him.
That's
During a time in which
insane,
MJ
Jack.
would allegedly call her both his mom and his girlfriend, which reminds me of
9
the Diddy
years
Usher
old?
situation, which we will be speaking about Diddy later because he will be relevant when
9
it comes
years
to the death
old?
of Michael Jackson. What I can say about Michael Jackson, though, is that I noticed something about him, just like I noticed about a lot of other celebrities, that always confused me, and it was the symbolism in their videos, their pictures, and their album covers. Michael Jackson can be seen as a child doing the one-eye symbolism, which are 100% Masonic or Freemason poses. So you can see him from the one-eye symbolism, the code of silence, or the sworn to secrecy pose, or even the 666 hand gesture. And it wasn't just in his childhood that he did this, as even when he was an adult, he continued to do the one-eye symbolism. And one of the most symbolic album covers of all time will be Michael Jackson's
Chat, do y'all think it was
Dangerous
planted?
album, which features the Masonic all-seeing eye, the twin pillars of knowledge, and even a young child.
Y'all think Michael Jackson was a
covered
plant?
by an animal skeleton. And even on this album cover, you can see the Masonic
Was he a plant,
checkerboard
Chad?
flooring, the red, white, and black color theme that you see in a lot of people's album, including multiple Michael Jackson photo shoots and albums, and even the moon crescent that represents
This is doing moon magic.
We've covered several artists in the past whom many are public.
Singing Michael Jackson was doing moon magic, chat.
Same
Damn.
in their music videos.
No wonder
and
why it was so
photos
cold.
as well. Moon magic.
That boy
has
in the
also
back
been
whipping
spoken
them
about many times
spells.
on this channel, as Aleister Crowley heavily teaches
This
about
nigga
in
was
his
a
books
Thelemite?
and his religion, Thelema, that we just
Wow.
covered in the XXX Tentacion video, where I 100% proved that XXX Tentacion was a follower of Aleister Crowley, and he wasn't even secretive about it.
Imagine being able to build
Wow.
an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it.
This nigga got back
Base
in the night.
44. A complete
Not to mention, I have to mention this, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club band album cover by the Beatles that feature many influential and controversial figures, especially in the music industry, such as Karl Marx, Bob Dylan, and yep, you guessed it, even Aleister Crowley himself. And even though MJ is not on this album cover,
That's
it 100%
insane.
connects to MJ because MJ was very close to the Beatles, specifically Paul McCartney. But not only that, MJ, infamously, as a lot of us know, would go on to buy the Beatles catalog. And so that connected him directly to the Beatles. But I want to talk about the reason that he bought the Beatles catalog, because it wasn't just about a flex. It wasn't about money, because MJ was already rich. I personally believe, and there are other people that believe, that MJ actually bought that catalog so that he can channel the spirit of Aleister Crowley. Because there's a lot of Beatle records that never came out. And there's a lot of rituals that went into MJ's music that we're about to cover. So I thought it would be very interesting for me to do something. I wanted to kill, 3 birds with one stone. And what I mean by that is, one of the most popular videos on this channel is the young lady that talks about the girl who was dating a guy who, quote unquote, sold his soul to the devil in order to make it in the music industry and will later get a record deal. Well, a lot of people tell me in my videos,
Chad, she look famous. Y'all know who that is?
They feel like I'm sharing this, I'm openly giving spells out on YouTube. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to kill 3 birds with one stone. I'm not going to give any spells out in this video. I'm not going to directly share it. 2, I'm still going to drive the point home about Michael Jackson, the evil practices that he delved into, and the ways in which he got his songs. And 3, I'm going to put you all onto Pastor G. Craig Lewis, who we talked about on the channel before, who did an incredible job. All my research was lining up with all the things that he talked about, so I figured, why not just include the clip where he's talking about it? He's going to deliver it maybe much better than I could anyways, and I want to direct you all to his channel so that you can find more information similar to the videos I make on this channel. And then on the other side, I'm going to tell you all, and we're going to break down 2 of MJ's songs piece by piece so you can see that MJ was not as innocent as many people think that he was.
My studies on this man has done is really summed everything that I've been preaching for the last 10 years up into one person. On the surface, people cried and wept and mourned. Churches celebrated and wore a glove and sung. They sung his songs, and they didn't know that they were celebrating the most powerful Nephilim our music industry has ever seen. This ancient God that was in this man literally stole your heart with some music. When he transformed himself into a woman, you didn't care. He stole your heart. When child molestation charges were brought up against him, you knew they were false because he stole your heart. When he bought the Beatles anthology so he could channel Aleister Crowley through it, he stole your heart. When he practiced witchcraft and became one of the most powerful channelers that we've ever seen, I'm going to show you. First thing Aleister Crowley teaches you in the 777 is to channel a powerful entity. Most of the time you get it out of a child. We'll talk about that later. But when this entity comes up on you, so what he did, he went and found the worshippers of Sybil, or we would say Cybele. Cybele was an ancient goddess. So those men that worshiped Cybele were different. They were called Corybants. Now you've heard the term, man, you're acting like a Corybant, or you're acting Corybantis, which means...
Chad, y'all ever heard this term?
The group of men that cloned this phrase were worshippers of this
I gotta look this up. I'll look it up later.
Cybele. And let me describe these...
Has anyone ever heard this term? Is this an old term?
In the old encyclopedia. Corybantes. They had their hair dressed and waved like women. They were heavily made up with their faces resembling whitewashed walls. They were castrated and keepers of children and infants. Partaken in coming-of-age rituals and celebrations. They practiced magic and divination to make money. Listen to this. They made wild cries or high-pitched shrills while they performed their dances to the music of pipes and dull beats of the tambourine. Listen, when the deity or the goddess would enter into them, they were possessed by divine power. They would dance uncontrollably in ecstatic frenzy. Here are some pictures just so you can get a good look. And I'm not, listen y'all, please be serious with me. This is not funny at all. This man died in this, okay? This is not funny. But he literally got put on out magazines. But just as like Michael, the archangel, I mean, the Bible says that we were made in God's image and his likeness. So our look is not far from God's look. But right here, they've got Michael and trying to make you think this is like Michael, the archangel, some seductive looking angel, because he kept his face in an ambiguous fashion where he really was genderless. Corey Bonds. Let's go through some of his songs so you can kind of hear his signals, because they always have to signal you. We Are the World. There's a line in We Are the World that is so demonic it's hard to believe that folks sung this in their churches in celebration to Michael Jackson, and it's down here. Michael wrote this part.
View, it's more than that.
It's like the more you just do your own research, bro.
Over 2,000.
The more you just find shit like this, man.
So they'll know that someone cares, and your lives.
Especially out there looking for the treat. That's the truth. The treat. The truth, bruh. The truth will set you free, but you also get cooked at the same time, Chad.
And turn stones to bread. All of us would.
When you start knowing too much, man.
Folks didn't even get it. They're waiting for me to finish the song. Here is a song where he's describing the Nephilim spirit in him and telling you that the end is near. This is a song called Another Part of Me. There he is, dressed up like Evil Maria in the same thing like Beyonce wore. He said, we're taking over. We have the truth. This is the mission to see it through. Don't point your finger. Not dangerous. This is our planet. You're one of us. Okay, it sounds like he's talking something friendly or whatever. But listen, we're sending out a major love. This is our message to you. The planets are lining up. What does it mean in astrology? What does it mean in Greek mythology? What does it mean in the Mayans and the Sumerian cultures? All of these different cultures. What does it mean when the planets line up? That's the day that Nimrod comes and takes his throne and finishes the Tower of Babel, the uncapped pyramid. They're all in line waiting for you. Can't you see you're just another? Says in this song, nasty boogie bugs me like somebody has drugged me. The spellbound rhythm gets on my feet. I changed my life completely. I seen the lightning leave me. And my baby just can't take her eyes off me. Look, the magic music moves me. That dirty rhythm grooves me. The devil's got into me with his dance.
Wow.
Believe it, Pastor, because it's Michael. I'm full of funky fever. A fire burns inside me. Boogie got me in a super trance. Blame it on the boogie. Quincy Jones said that when he finished this song, he couldn't stop dancing. He ran out in the street and he was dancing uncontrollably. Oh, I'm not done. I haven't even started. There were 3 ways Michael Jackson would get his songs. You gotta hear this part, because I believe this is what led to Michael Jackson's death. Hope they come talk to me about it, because I'll give them some information from the Holy Ghost. I don't need a forensic scientist. Look at somebody and say, all you gotta do is ask God. God laid this out to me as plain as day. The 3 ways Michael Jackson got his songs. The first way, Michael Jackson said, he told Martin Bashir on the interview that he would climb a tree called the Giving Tree. Tree of knowledge. Tree of knowledge. He climbed this tree and he would get his songs.
The climate is a problem for Jackson. He says the colour-changing skin condition vitiligo has made him allergic to the sun. So, shielded by his umbrella, he took me to his most secret place.
I call it my giving tree because it inspires me. I love climbing trees in general, but this tree I love the most because I climb up high and I look down on its branches, and it gives me, I just love it, so many ideas. I've written so many of my songs in this tree. I wrote Heal the World in this tree, Will You Be There, Black or White, Childhood.
Second way, Aleister Crowley said in his book, 777, that he had a room of mirrors, and if you look into a mirror, you can look into yourself, and you can channel the spirits of those that were before you. He's really saying that those that may have molested you, or those that may have taken
Chad,
you,
what?
back and ask them.
This man was climbing trees.
Tell you why they did what they did to you. So Michael Jackson
And getting ancient knowledge.
A room of mirrors that he could go in and channel spirits. And Michael Jackson
challenge
shows us
spirits from a
spirit.
tree?
He says this. He says, I have my own secret
I can't even talk.
room
This is
with a
crazy.
moving wall and mirrors, okay? Same room that Aleister Crowley had. He says, this is where I talk to Liberace. I hear his voice in there. I feel his presence so very close to me. He's like my guardian angel.
Who's Liberace?
He even gave me permission to record his title, I'll Be Seeing You. That's in the Psychic News in 1987. Liberace, homosexual, flamboyant homosexual. You channel the spirit of the most flamboyant homosexual of our time. And the third way is the way I believe Michael Jackson died. He said that his best songs came in dreams. Michael Jackson would channel Morpheus, the god of dreams, who studied under Serapis Bey. Serapis Bey is the image that Catholics use as the image of Christ, but it's not. He has the sun god behind his head. He looks just like Christ, but it's not. Just like Semiramis and Nimrod, that whole thing I told you about earlier. But he was an Egyptian incarnated god, so he would channel those spirits. He also channeled the spirits of Hypnos and Thanatos. Hypnos is the god of sleep. Thanatos is the god of death, and they're brothers along with Morpheus.
Is that why they call it? That's just hypnosis.
Michael was doing. If you read, Michael Jackson would sleep sometimes 3 and 4 days at a time because he was trying to get hits songs.
I just got brain
said
fog.
one time that he couldn't go to
Is that where hypnosis come
He
from?
said a spirit told him that if he did not get to sleep to get this song, the spirit is going to give it to Prince. This is where the rivalry between him and Prince birthed in the 80s, if y'all remember that. But Michael needed to sleep, so they began to sedate him heavily so he could sleep the amount of time he needed to sleep to get hits. But a 50-year-old body trying to do a world tour, hungry for the next hit song, the right dosage. I know some people are saying, well, you haven't really convinced me. I'm about to. Michael Jackson had 2 albums that told everything that he was doing. The first album he had that I'm a
Can you please just hear me out?
Damn.
No, all work management platforms are the same. Monday.com is the one you'll actually
Chat,
love to use.
what?
It lets you set up.
show
Like
you
what?
his history album. He built a statue of himself like Nebuchadnezzar because that Nephilim spirit in him wanted to be worshipped. But if you zoom into his arm, there's a number on his arm. And that number is 777. Aleister Crowley's book, 777. Quabbalistic writings. Channel Nephilim spirits for fame. Get your songs from the devil.
Alright, you seen that, you heard that. Sometimes I want you all to consider is that a lot of times when we listen to music, we get entranced and we get caught up in the way the music makes us feel. Yes, that's important, but that's not everything, because a lot of times the frequencies and the spells they put over these songs, it can mislead us to the point where we can literally be saying something super dangerous or super,
And you don't even know what it
believe
is.
in. But because it feels so good, we just go along with it. We Are the World, which is one of Michael Jackson's biggest records. I remember when I was a kid, I was listening to that song. It just made me feel so good. I wanted to just be, kumbaya and hold hands and hug somebody. In fairness to MJ, it didn't make me want to do anything evil. But yet, I remember when I saw this video clip for the first time, and I just couldn't believe it, and it just showed me just how much we can be hypnotized. We Are the World by Michael Jackson is one of the most demonic songs ever. But you will never know it when you just listen to it because it sounds amazing.
Wow.
So I'm going to have this gentleman, I'm going to show you the video that changed everything for me when it came to Michael Jackson and how I perceive him and his music. I'm going to show you the video of the gentleman breaking this song down and telling you from the outfits that Michael Jackson wore, not just his connection to Aleister Crowley and his admiration of Aleister Crowley, but also how misleading and just flat out lying they did in these